Welcome to another episode of Christopher Reads the Help Files. In this episode, it's Vault Project Objects. Exciting stuff. About Vault Project Objects. You can create, manage, and reference project objects through their source drawings. A project object is an object that is intended to be shared with others working on a project. A project object is managed through its source drawing, which is the drawing that contains the object. A project object becomes available to others when the source drawing contains the object is added to or checked in to the project database and the object is selected to be shared. To include a project object in other drawings, you create a reference to the object. A reference is a read-only copy of the object that you can refer to as if it were the object itself. Creating project objects. Create a project object by adding a source drawing to a project. When you add or check in a drawing to a project, you can specify which objects, such as surfaces, in the drawing are to be shared. After a project object has been shared, it is listed in the project's object collection, such as surfaces, in the prospector tree. You can access a project's data in another drawing by creating a read-only copy called a reference. About creating references to Vault project objects. You can include a read-only copy of a project object in a drawing by creating a reference to it. When you create a reference to an object, you cannot modify the object's geometry, but you can access its properties and data, apply styles and annotation, and perform some types of analysis. All the available project objects in a project are listed in the project's object collections in the prospector tree. You can create references to objects in any project. For example, you can attach a drawing to project A, and then you can create references to objects that exist in any project, such as project A or project B. Create a reference creates a local copy of the object source drawing in your working folder. If you already have a local copy of the object's source drawing, it is updated to the latest version, if necessary. To check out a Vault project object source drawing. You can check out a project object source drawing at the project object level in the prospector tree. When you check out a drawing, a local copy of the drawing is placed in your working folder, and the drawing is opened. Note, if you have a workgroup replication enabled in Autodesk Vault, your workgroup must have ownership of a drawing before you can check it out. To check out a project object source drawing, 1. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, expand the project's collections. 2. Expand the project collection that contains the project object. 3. Expand the object collection that contains the project object. 4. Right-click the project object and click Checkout Source Drawing. 5. In the Checkout Drawing dialog box, specify whether file dependencies should be included. 6. Specify whether the latest version of the file is desired. 7. If Include File Dependencies is selected, specify which project files should be checked out with the drawing file by selecting the checkboxes next to them. 8. Click OK. To undo the checkout of a project object source drawing, you can undo the checkout of a project object source drawing at the project object level in the prospector tree. 1. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, expand the project's collection. 2. Expand the project collection that contains the project object. 3. Expand the object collection that contains the project object. 4. Right-click the project object and click Undo Checkout Source Drawing. 5. In the Undo Checkout dialog box, select Include File Dependencies to display dependent files. 6. If dependent files are displayed, clear the checkbox next to the files that should remain checked out. 7. Click OK. To work with Vault project objects. To create a reference to a Vault project object, 1. Open the drawing to which you want to add the reference, and make it active in the drawing. 2. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, expand the project's collection. 3. Expand the project and object collections that contain the project object. Note, the object can exist in any project. You can create references to objects in different projects in the same drawing. 4. Right-click the project object. 5. Click Create Reference. 6. In the Create Reference dialog box for the object, specify how the object's geometry will be displayed in the drawing. 7. Click OK. To promote a project object, you can replace a read-only object reference with an editable copy of the project object by promoting the object reference. Important. Promoting an object reference severs all connections to project object source data. The connection cannot be reestablished. You should promote an object reference only when you have no need to maintain the object's link to its source drawing or data. Note: corridor references cannot be promoted. 1. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, under the Open Drawings collection, expand the drawing that contains the project reference object you want to promote. 2. Expand the drawing object collection that contains the object reference you want to promote. 3. Right-click the object and click Promote. To delete a project object, make an object unavailable for referencing in other project drawings. You can delete an object from a list of reference objects for a project. Any existing references to the object remain intact and continue to be updated from the source object. When all references of an object have been removed from a project, it is still visible in the Vault client, and its unreferenced state is indicated with a circle with a line crossed out of it icon. Note: if you have workgroup replication enabled in Vault Professional, your workgroup must have ownership of a project object source drawing before you can remove a project object. 1. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, expand the projects collection. 2. Expand the project and object collections that contain the project object. 3. Right-click the project object to be deleted. 4. Click Remove. To get the latest version of a project object, if someone makes a change to a project object, you can easily update your local copy of the object source drawing. When someone creates a new version of a project object source drawing in the project database, your local copy becomes out of date. You can determine the state of your local copy by the icon displayed next to either the source drawing or the project object in the Prospector tree. Note: the Get Latest Version command is available at all levels of a project in the Prospector tree, when applicable. 1. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, expand the projects collection. 2. Expand the project collection that contains the project object. 3. Expand the object collection that contains the project object. 4. Right-click the project object and click Get Latest Version. 5. In the Get Latest Version dialog box, select Include File Dependencies to display dependent files in the project files list. 6. Clear the checkboxes next to the file and folders that you do not want updated. 7. Click OK. To access a source drawing for a project object, you can quickly open or switch to a project object source drawing. You can open a project object source drawing from the project object level in the Prospector tree. If the drawing is already open, you can make it the active drawing. Note: if you do not have the drawing checked out, you can only open the drawing in read-only mode. 1. In Toolspace, on the Prospector tab, expand the projects collection. 2. Expand the project collection that contains the project object. 3. Expand the object collection that contains the project object. 4. Right-click the project object and do one of the following. If you have the source drawing checked out, click Open Source Drawing to open it. If you do not have the source drawing checked out, click Open Source Drawing, Read Only, to open it. If the source drawing is open, click Switch to Source Drawing to make it the active drawing. And so this concludes another episode of Christopher Reads the Help Files.